If you're moving to Canada or you know someone who's moving to Canada, then this is the video you should be watching or you should be sending it to them. And I'll tell you why in this video. So my family and I moved for the second time from Nigeria to UAE and now from UAE, where we people typically know as Dubai, to Canada. And I struggled a lot with finding content or creators or information from people who have moved from UAE to Canada, particularly Ontario, which is where I am. And so because of that and so many other reasons, I decided to come up with this video. And that also aligns with the kind of content that I want to be putting out. I want you to always get value at the end of the day. So make sure you're subscribing, make sure that you're hitting the like button, because I promise you will gain value from it. Now let's go right to the meat of this video today. So before moving here, I did a number of things, and thanks to some creatives or creators who are not in the UAE, but I just found their content really helpful. And one of them is Tomi Adenuga, and from her content, I was able to understand that I could pack food, cooked food, just make sure it's really frozen, like stone cold frozen, and get it along with me here. So I did that. I did exactly what she did. I got my food stone cold frozen and it was fantastic. It was such a lifesaver for me for the first few days, because imagine coming to a new country and you're still struggling to find your feet and your bearing. And I'm with two tiny kids, right? And I have to start struggling to get ingredients and cooking. That doesn't make sense. So getting cooked food is a yes, yes, not a no, no. The first thing you should get if you're coming to Canada, moving, relocating, migrating, especially as a permanent resident, is to get your realtor. I'm not going to paint it light. Most of these landlords do not really like newcomers. And so the best thing to do is to prepare financially to pay at least 3 months ahead upfront. So when you have 3 months upfront, the realtor who's going to be helping you speak will find some sort of voice to speak on your behalf when he or she is presenting your file to the landlord. Now, the next question will be, how much do you pay the realtors? You don't pay the realtors any money. Most of the time, that arrangement is usually between the landlord and the realtors. You don't pay for it. So it's more like a free service. So why not if not? And if you get it to Canada, I think that's just incurring additional cost, because you now have to pay for an Airbnb or a hotel, as the case may be. So if you can, make sure you get a realtor. And the tip is to make sure you have at least 3 to 6 months rent upfront. That's the first point I would say we used and was very helpful for us. So you should do the same too if you can. The second point is to get cooked food ahead, which is what I already mentioned. I learned that from Tomi Adeniga and I did it and it was just perfect. And I also explained the reason why it's very good for you to just do that, really. So the second point is food. If you get a rent, if you get a realtor ahead and you get a place to stay, then the next thing you should be thinking about should be where you sleep and then food. Those are the basics, right? So prepare for food. It's allowed, but it's only on a check-in basis. So you're not going to put it in your hand luggage. Reminder. Then the third one is, if you have kids, if you have children, make sure that you're bringing toys and educational materials for them, because imagine the first few days, think of what their routine used to look like. You're uprooting them, you're lifting them from their usual cycles, and it's going to be draining on you. Quite frankly, even the ones I brought, I didn't use because I was trying to settle my head was trying to settle my routines, the time zone. My head was not in one place, but I still brought it anyways. And I'm thankful I did, because now that things are somewhat, settling in, I'm beginning to now give them, and because I also got it, a lot more cheaper, it's easier for me to just, hand it over to them to play with. So that's the third one. If you have little kids, think about your kids. I'm not just talking about toys. Of course, we have toys for the kids. I'm not talking of just books. I'm talking of materials that they play with, your crayons, your everything that you play with, activities, materials, puzzles, those things that keep them engaged, so that you can also get a breather. You can also get like 2 to 3 minutes of your time back, right? I'm looking into my phone because I don't have everything off head. Okay, so the fourth one is car seat. If you have children, my dear, please try to contact the airline ahead and find out if you can come in with your car seat. For us, we contacted the airlines and they told us it was only allowed for kids that were less than 2. Now my son is over 2, so that couldn't work for him. But for my daughter, we had to bring, and then of course they had restraints and constraints, whatever. I don't know why the airline did that. So they only asked us to take one, either the car seat or the stroller. So we had to pick one. And looking back in hindsight, I'm thinking, was that the best decision? I don't know. But if you can, I hear that some other airlines actually allow both. So reach out to the airline and ask them to tell you, what's obtainable. It will be best if you bring your car seat here, because most of these Uber drivers, after they have taken the risk of taking you home from the airport to your home, that's it. Sometimes you book a ride and the driver just sees you and sees you have kids, just does your cancel, or he cancels it, and your plan is just, abruptly put on hold. So if you can avoid those embarrassments, avoid those delays, and just come with the car seat, right? Now, the fifth one is going to be the basic things. Come with your toiletries, please. Come with your bed sheets. Come with your pots. Come with your cooking spoon. I even came with disposable plates. That's how mentally prepared I was, and I am so glad I executed everything to the letter. I came with plates, disposable. I came with disposable cups. I came with disposable spoons, because I don't want to be doing the dishes in the first few days. I'm trying to maybe do some registration. I don't want to be thinking about those things, and I'm not sure anybody really wants all that inconvenience, especially after going through that very long flight. Really, it doesn't exactly give off what you want for your first few days. So you want to prepare ahead, bring those things, your toiletries, things that will just help you settle in for the first few days before you find your way around. You can then know where to buy, where to shop, and all of that. Okay, so that's the fifth point. Then the sixth point is getting an airbed. So remember I mentioned that the first few things you should get, once you get a place to stay, then food, then bed. Where will you sleep? So I strongly suggest to get an airbed. I got an airbed. Um, could have even gotten it way cheaper from UAE, but then it's really expensive to carry that weight. It's over 5 kg. So I just weighed both sides and said, okay, we'll just come and shop it here. If possible, really, if possible, just even go and buy the bed straight up. If you can, get someone who, if you have someone who stays in, that will be perfect. They can help you shop from Costco. And if you don't like the bed after a while, that's the mattress. I mean, after a while, you can return it, really. No biggie. But that's like the best option, to get a mattress. But if you're unable to, then the next best will be to get an airbed. Take your time and decide, what mattress you want to get. So an airbed is like an inflatable camp or tent, material that you can stay on. Okay, so that's like the number 6 points. Now let's go to the last but not the least point. And the last but not least point is getting mentally prepared. Now, I cannot even overemphasize this enough. I have done relocation and I'm doing relocation again. And so even if you think you're prepared mentally, there are times when the thing, zaps your energy. You're asking yourself, was this the best decision? You're asking yourself, why did you even do this again? So when you remember your why, you're motivated, but mentally prepare yourself for the change, the shift. For me, the part where I felt more, pressure and the overwhelm was coming from the point of transportation. I'm very much a mobile person, and I felt this constraint. Why? Because I'm not driving and everywhere is far. This city is big. My goodness. It's not somewhere you say, let me walk. You came in summer though. And even when I want to walk, I don't know how to explain it, but please, it was telling a toll on me because I felt constrained, I felt limited, I felt I wasn't able to do a lot I needed to because I was not mobile enough, right? So I reminded myself again, and this is what I'm going to say to you. In fact, maybe this should even be the number one point. Get prepared mentally. All right. So remember, if you know anyone who's coming to Canada, or you know anyone who has moved to Canada recently, they probably will want to invite their loved ones as well, then you should send them this video. This page is intended to share you only value and things that are valuable. So it could be things that could help you save money. It could be things that could help you make money. It could also be things that, will really uplift your life in one way or the other. So remember to subscribe, remember to share, remember to like, and I will see you in my next video. Ciao, ciao.